When the circus rolls into town in the dead of night, everyone knows you should stay away. Grimsley the Great, the infamous towering clown, has already spread fear into the hearts of children and adults alike. But now there's a new clown in town, causing even more terror than before. With his dark, sharp-toothed grin and horrifying face, Hugz the Clown wanders from circus to circus, finding the most innocent of humans to feed on. He waits until late at night, when the circus is just closing down and people begin to slowly wander out of the big top. As someone walks by, they'll hear the faint sound of laughing and the smell of cotton candy inviting them into the shadows. And if they're curious enough, they'll follow the sounds and smells. But the only thing they're going to find is Hugz waiting for them in the dark. He never gives anyone the chance to run, so he'll snatch you up without so much of a second thought. Scared and frightened, his victims try to scream, but it's always too late, because once you're in his clutches, you'll never be heard from again. But remember that this clown is more than just rumors and scary stories. So when you hear the strange sounds coming from the shadows, it would be wise not to follow them. The circus might be closed, but that won't stop Hugz from making you his final act. Alright guys, so as you can tell, we're doing a review on Hugz the Clown. So, Hugz the Clown was released at Spirit Halloween last year for the 2018 Halloween season, and is made by Seasonal Visions, and as we all know by now, he is returning for the 2019 season, so that'll be interesting to see what goes on there with how they update him and what theme he'll be in and blah blah blah. Knowing that, getting that out of the way, now we can actually start with the review. So I'll be going over, the generic things, some like detail, quality, and I'll be going over his specs. When you open the item, he does come with an adapter, and he comes with instructions. So if you have any trouble setting up props, the instructions will be great for you. I don't have a picture of these instructions, but he does come with them, and they are very helpful. He comes with an adapter, but the adapter is a 5.9 volt adapter. So the adapter fries, and you go to Spirit and buy one of the adapters that's sitting on the shelves. You have to be careful because that's a 6 volt 2 amp adapter that they sell at the Spirit stores, and an adapter that's higher voltage than what the prop recommends could potentially fry out the prop, and you don't want that. So I would avoid trying to use a different adapter, but if you have any problems, the best way is to just contact Spirit through their live support or email. Knowing how fucking stupid they are, they might help or they might not. Because knowing something as simple as an adapter that they don't even sell, they still might request an order number or receipt from you. They might not, but they might. Depends on the representative you get when you're on the live chat or the email. The Spirit Halloween customer service experience varies. You actually start to set up the item, and the setup's pretty straightforward. He's made of iron, and it's pretty high quality. The leg pulls aren't too thin. None of the metal's really too thin except for the welding joints. I think the welding could be a lot better on these Seasonal Visions props and RS and whatever. It's fine for the most part, it works. He has 3 sayings, so once you turn him on, depending on the setting you have him on, you can set him off through a sensor, a step pad, or try me, or you could have him constantly running. So whatever you have him on, once you plug him in and activate him, he'll start cycling through his phrases. So again, he has 3, and they're all very different. They're all very good. One person shouldn't have the same experience all the times that they go through your haunt or your yard display or whatever you're using him for. If they go through a few times, he should say something different. So yes, as you can see, he does lunge forward. His mouth moves, his eyes light up, and he makes noise. It's pretty standard. It's not a lot of movement, not a whole range of movement, but it works, and I like it. So as I said, step pad compatible and try me button compatible, but they're both sold separately, so you have to be really careful with that. Spirit's Seasonal Visions props do not come with step pads, unlike other websites. I also forgot to mention the adapter. It's actually 6 feet long, so there's not a whole lot of range. You'll probably need an extension cord. Now, material-wise, I can't really tell if the face is latex or rubber or some sort of vinyl. I would say just latex rubber. But it doesn't seem like the kind that will dry rot. And if it does dry rot, I don't think it will for a very long time. and that's a really good thing. His hands are made of plastic, and his jumpsuit, I can't really pin what the material is, but I mean, it's literally just listed as fabric when you look at the materials list, so I can't really say. But the sign is made of cardboard, and the ropes that the sign are attached to are like real ropes. I can't really remember what the term is called. And sorry, I'm kind of speaking weird. I'm sick right now, and I can't really think straight, and my voice sounds really fucking weird, so excuse that for right now. I really like this. I think his quality is pretty decent. Again, the metal poles. The speaker is very loud. That's something that I really enjoy, is that his speaker is very loud. And you don't need an external speaker for him, but he does have an external speaker jack. So if you want him to be super loud, then you have that option. So that's something to think about, and it's something kind of useful depending on where you're putting him. Yeah, without further ado, I think we'll just get a little closer to him, and I'll stand next to him and I'll show you what he's like up close. Alright, so here's Hugz himself. He is 6'2". I am 5'7" myself, and as you can see, he looks a lot taller than me. A lot of kids going through your haunt, a lot of adults, they're usually shorter than him, so he usually tends to loom over people as they walk by him, and that just makes him all the more menacing, and I love that about him. But however, he is very scrawny, and I like that. I actually prefer the scrawny look over the muscular look that his concept art originally had intended. And I believe that's what Seasonal Visions intended to begin with, but I think the scrawny look that the released models have are much better than the concept art. So I'm happy with that, personally. As you can see, just the basics right off the bat, you know, the purple hair, yellow eyes, yellowed, sharp-toothed grin. Alright, so here's his face up close. You can see there's a lot of crevices, cracks, wrinkles. It looks very nice. It looks like they put a lot of work into him, and the artists over at Seasonal Visions are amazing people. They definitely put a lot of work into this, and I really like it. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see, like I said, the cracks and crevices, the wrinkles all over his face. And his lips, you can see that the painting for the lipstick is a bit off. The lips themselves look okay, but the paint is a little off down here on the sides. But that's only a minor inconvenience. It doesn't bug me at all. I really like his red nose right here. I think that's an awesome touch. I like that more than the really bulbous clown noses, you know, the plastic ones that you put over your nose. I don't like those at all, like the ones Dead Humor has. Kind of see his hair kind of exposes one ear, covers the other, but that's just mine. And the hair itself, I do thoroughly enjoy, but the wig just really kind of throws it off, just like any wig would. You can see it's not seamless at all. You can see where the wig is attached, where it's glued on, and it becomes a lot more evident if you look at his backside, which I don't really need to show you, but I guess I will. There's the backside of his head. You can see where the wig is attached. From there, you go down to the clothing. There's the ruffle on the neck. It looks pretty nice. I don't really have a problem with the clothing. I think it looks pretty good. I actually really do enjoy it. As you can see, it is split in two. So on the left side of his jumpsuit, you have the purple polka dots, and on the right side, you have his striped, black and white striped side. And so the arms are inverted, so the purple polka dots here, black stripes here, black stripes there, polka dots there. So I think that's a nice touch. It's similar to what they did on Towering Clown, and most of their other clown props, actually. They do that with the jumpsuits. But, so his clothes, I can't really pin the material. The website literally lists them as just fabric. So, yeah, but, again, I don't really have a problem with them, and I think the blood stains look nice. You don't really need blood stains on all your props, though. That's something I do have a problem with, is that almost every prop at this point, whoops, Okay, so here are his hands. Excuse the cords on the floor. There's a lot of them, actually. But his hands are just plastic, and they're covered in blood. Really nice touch, I want to get in on this a little bit, is that his hands are... He's actually wearing gloves, and he does have the same hands as Twitching Clown. But, so if I pull back the sleeve a little bit, you can see his actual arm here, and you can see where the glove starts. And the glove is all has like a burlap kind of texture to it, and it looks really nice. I am a huge fan of that, and I could not ask for anything else. I am so glad that they did not use the dagger-fingered hands that they use on everything now, like Towering Clown and Twitching Banshee and, you know, all those. So these are some really nice-looking monster hands. They don't really look human because of the pointed fingers and the skeletal appearance that they have. But I do really like his hands, and they're both pretty much the same, so I'll just be looking at that one for right now. Alright, and there are his shoes. So they're essentially the same as Towering Clown's shoes, but they're just painted purple. I don't really have a problem with it, considering clown shoes are supposed to be pretty big. So I like them, but they do look really cheap and fake, so that is a problem that I do have. But for storage reasons, I guess they are really nice because they're stackable, so it makes for really nice storage space. Especially when you have to pack this guy back up and you smack them together and you shove them in the box, it actually works out really well for storage. But that's all I have to say for the shoes. You can see the base down there too. The base, everything on this prop, most Seasonal Visions props are some sort of iron. They've listed that as a material before. So it is pretty sturdy, it's pretty durable. It does rock a little bit. It lifts up off the floor just a tiny bit when you push him back. When he resets his position after he lunges, it tends to rock back a little bit and lift up off the ground. But that's fine because it's not nearly enough momentum to actually just push him over. So the base works out just fine. Not quite as big as Looming Strawman's base, but gets the job done. Alright, now this is kind of epic. So here's the back side of the prop. So here you have everything that you would not see under the clothes, obviously, you know. Yeah, so I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. But anyway, you can see everything back here. So you got the module itself. It's a big black box. It's similar to almost every other Seasonal Visions prop from 2015 and up. So all the newer model props have these kind of modules. One thing I love, and other companies need to do this, is that all the controls are on the back and the speaker is in the front. So the speaker is facing the opposite way, and since the speaker is projecting forward, it actually sounds like it's coming from him, almost as if he's talking through his mouth, even though the speaker's not quite up to his mouth. You can kind of tell it's not coming from his head, but it's definitely much, much louder than if they placed the speaker in the back. And a perfect example is High Voltage Fenced-In Zombie. His speaker is facing backwards from him, and if you have him, you can turn him on and you'll go face to face with him and he'll sound kind of quiet, but as soon as you turn him around and listen to the speaker projecting forward towards you, it sounds much louder. And I hope that other props start to actually use this method, because it's something so simple, and I don't know how retarded that some of these companies are that they already don't do this, but they need to do them. But I understand that it also could be a problem with the way they built the prop, the orientation of the module, and everything else that goes into building it. But aside from that shit, anyways, so you got the module. He has a toggle switch, which can switch between off, sensor mode, and constant setting. And he has a step pad and tri-me jack. Step pad and a tri-me jack, yeah. And he also is compatible with an adapter. He only runs with an adapter, so you have to be careful if you plan to use him on batteries. That's not possible. However, you still can use an extension cord, so as long as your extension cord is long enough, then you should be fine. And the cord length says it's 6 feet long, but it's longer than 6 feet, but it's still not quite long enough to do much with it. But it gets the job done. If you have him close to a power outlet, you'll be fine. So other than the module, you can see some of the connectors coming from his head, going into the module, and some other wire harnesses. Here you have the wire harness going down to the main motor, and this is the sensor wire. So, and you have these four rods and pulleys that work to raise the arms and the head simultaneously as the body is pushed forward by this main rod here. Let's see, these two lift up the arms and this one's for the head. So it's kind of simple, but a little over complex, I guess, but it works. So the motor down here, I don't know how you can see that. The motor is kind of just a wiper motor or a reindeer motor per se. And you can see it kind of through all this wire. And yes, he's mostly made of metal wire, like I said, and there's a hip loop down here and kind of a thing to give him a little more shape here. It's not necessarily a hip loop, but it's definitely a loop. So that's kind of it for his backside. Oh yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned that he has a volume control, but that's obvious. So that's about it for his internal structure. So we'll get back to showing. Oh wait, hold on. Okay. So I did forget something actually. So something you can do with Hugz if you want him to go faster. I wouldn't really advise this, but one thing you can do is take off this spring, and he'll lunge out a little bit faster, but he'll have a little more trouble trying to get himself back up. And it could potentially burn out the motor, possibly. It depends. I wouldn't use it too much, but I would say that a couple hours on Halloween night, if he's not running on constant mode, should be fine.
Fun, game, and hard! I'll get you next time. Step right up, yes, you'll do nice, very tasty, healthy. Cut it! Wow, you're a fast one. You there! Do you want to play a game? If I catch you, then I get to eat you. Got it! Oh, I missed. Ah, well, I'll just have to catch the next one then. Hey there, friend. Welcome to the fun house. Come a little closer. We've got fun and games and fun! I'll get you next time. Step right up, yes, you'll do nice, very tasty, healthy. Cut it! Wow, you're a fast one.
Alright, so that's Hugz, and I hope you liked the review, and I think you should know that he is coming back for the 2019 season, and everybody knows, but I'll just say it here. He was my favorite from the 2018 season, and I'm really glad he's coming back. I don't know how they're going to update him, what they're going to do with him, but I hope they make him better in any way they can, even though he already is a pretty good prop. And I love him. He definitely gets an approval from me, and I know he's very popular. He sold very well. Not the best, but he's definitely one of the top 3 sellers, I believe, from last season. And he probably will be again this season, unless the 2019 lineup rivals the 2018 lineup. But anyways, that was the review, and bottom line, he does get my approval, and you should buy him. He's $210. I'd suggest getting him with a coupon. You can get him in store or online. Currently he's on pre-order, so you're going to have to wait quite a while if you order him right now. But yeah, so I approve, and check out my other videos. I should have cards somewhere around here, I don't fucking know.